Hi, my name's Spiro Christopoulos and I'm the school captain here at Trinity Grammar School in 2020. Today I'm joined by former school vice captain and captain of track and field. He's from the class of 2015. He's had a stellar athletics career post-school, representing his country on various occasions, acclaiming the title as the third fastest man over 100 metres in Australian history, and he is no other than Mr. Rowan Browning. Good afternoon, Rowan. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Spiro. It's good to be back.
Good to see you. Tell us a bit about why you're back at school today. You know, apart from the interview, why are you here? What's going on?
I'm back here at Trinity today, as I have been just about every day since I graduated in 2015 for train for the track and field in preparation for the Tokyo Olympics.
Very good. So we'll see you out here a bit later on, you know, going through the motions, going through the strides. That's great to see.
That's right.
Now, we're on here on Oval number 2, a place which you mentioned you spent hours on end training over the years. What are some of the great memories that you've had around this track here at Trinity, you know, during your time at the school and over the years?
It's a spectrum of memories. I have some pretty awful memories of Wednesday nights spent by the side of the track, just keeling over in pain from the repeat 200s that Mr. Murphy was having us doing. And I think it was those sessions early on that really set me up for the career that I've had. Taught me a lot about myself and sort of where the body can go, where you can take it, where you can push it. In terms of fond memories, there's lots of those too. I used to come out here with my mates, eat lunch, at recess. It's just such a great facility. I think the number one is the Headmaster's Dash, the 40-metre dash. I won that a few times in my time here, but I don't think I have the record anymore.
Yeah, Theo Kidd might have broken it.
Yeah,
he's
a great talent coming through.
Yeah, I think in the CAF they've got a board with all the names of people that have won it. So you're on there. The name still lives on. Very good. Yeah. Now, obviously you ran for Trinity on a number of different occasions, CAS, national point of view, state point of view, and you had a lot of great memories, but which one stands out to you as the most memorable in the green and white singlet? For me, it was in 2015, it was your last CAS, it was a 100 metre, the best event, most famous event of the night. You ran the 100 metre sprint, but for you, what was your favourite, most memorable moment in the green and white?
I'll never forget my first CAS, and when I came to Trinity in Year 9, I was a blank canvas. I hadn't done much track and field at all. I'd never trained for it. I didn't even know that I had an interest in it. And really, Mr. Murphy and all the staff involved in the track and field program moulded me into the athlete that I am today, and that all started back in Year 9 at my first ever CAS. I remember I didn't win. I came second to Matt Wood, who was from Barker, and he's a great mate of mine. But that first memory, even though I didn't win, was just cemented for me what it means to go to Trinity, all the support, having all the boys get behind you. It's something that I've never had, even at a home Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, different experience, a unique experience. I think Mr. Leckie says about the swimming that it's the greatest sporting event, and likewise for the track and field, it's something people look forward to every year, so definitely a highlight there for CAS. When you began at Trinity, you mentioned, you know, you weren't really focused on a career in track and field, but how did Trinity help you realise your potential when it came to your athletics performance? Obviously coaches and people, but Mr. Murphy ultimately was the one. So who and what helped you realise your potential when you were here at Trinity?
Well, like I said, when I came to Trinity, I came from another school and I really was a blank canvas. It was Year 9. It's an awkward time in your life, really.
Yeah.
It's an age where you don't know who you are, you don't know who you want to be, and you don't even know what options are available to you. And for me, the best thing about Trinity was just the breadth of options that I had when I came here. I realised that there were more subjects than I knew what to do with, more elective options that I'd ever seen before, more sports on offer for me to pursue, more activities and interests and co-curriculars to throw myself into. It really is a school that you get out as much as you put in. So when it comes to the sport of track and field, really it was Mr. Andrew Murphy who got me involved in the sport. He tapped me on the shoulder. I saw something in me, a bit of talent, got me into that first CAS, and just made it the option available to me to train when I wanted, no pressure for the following years.
Yeah.
And really, Murph took me as a 14-year-old boy and turned me into an elite athlete and a national representative. And I just don't know any other school in the country where that can be facilitated.
Yeah, you know, ex-Olympian, 3-time Olympian, was it right?
Yeah, 3-time
triple jumper, so it was a great opportunity, and he was definitely the one that I think you attribute your successes to from time to time, which is really cool. Yeah.
And even post school now, being able to come back and train here, Murph and I he's been a great coach and a great mentor and become a great friend to me over the years. And I just don't know where else you can get that.
Touching on opportunities that Trinity offered you away from the track, they offer a breadth of opportunities to all their students, but for you personally, I know you had the chance to lead in a number of different ways and you were given some unique opportunities whilst at the school. So what were those particular highlights away from the track, whilst at Trinity?
Well, I remember when I came to the school in Year 9 and I was thrown into the deep end with what was then Pine Bluff and is now the Field Studies Centre. And I remember at the time, a lot of the boys whinged about it, but now my mates and I look back and that's definitely one of our fondest memories of the school. It's one of the things we enjoyed the most. And that really helped me find my feet. Going away for a month, meeting new mates, new people, I came back with great friends and friends for life. The other thing that I was involved in pretty well all the way through high school was debating, and that's something that's really helped me, particularly with media obligations in sport following high school.
Yeah, and then, there was one particular opportunity, and I'll touch on this, the UN youth leadership or youth opportunity that you got to go to Israel and Jordan. What was that like for you, Rowan? As a young man going to a different country and experiencing what you did, what was that like for you?
Yeah, that was a great trip. In 2015, which was my Year 12 year, just leading into that year, the UN Youth Association, the United Nations Youth Association, put on a tour to the Middle East. It was called the Middle East Experience, and we toured around Israel, we toured around Dubai, and also we went to Jordan and Amman. That was a fantastic opportunity. It was great to meet people with a wide array of interests, particularly outside of sport, to see part of the world that most people don't never get to see.
Yeah, very good. Now, away from running, were there examples of where the school challenged you to explore or expand your horizons in other career paths or opportunities? Obviously, you were great on the track, but away from that career-wise, how did the school influence you there?
I think I was very privileged to be vice captain, and that gave me a lot of opportunities to try and lead. I was also very lucky that I was working in a team of really talented, really charismatic guys with Tom Dickinson, who was the school captain. Yeah. One of the best school captains the school's ever seen, I think.
Yeah.
And Alex Connolly and Mitch Geehar, two great mates of mine, who were the other vices. So I think learning leadership through service was a big thing that I learned in my time here at the school, especially working with those guys. Who led by example.
Great team, yeah. And they're still very close mates of yours, which proves that bond and connection and what you learnt from them over the years. Now, in terms of contributing to a team environment, I know athletics and track and field is sort of an individual sport, and we'll touch on that in a minute. But from a team point of view, you were the leader of a track and field team, and you were, one of the leaders of the Trinity team. And what did the school teach you about contributing to a team environment?
Well, like I said, I was lucky through my vice captaincy, and I was lucky as captain track and field to be able to lead in a very obvious visual way from the front. But to be honest, I think some of the best skills that I learned in terms of working as part of a team was through my experience in the IB, the International Baccalaureate. I remember going into the practice exams in Year 12, we all did decently, but we all improved a lot. And my year did exceptionally well in the IB on the whole, because we had this great collegiality between groups of mates and individuals. And basically, we all got together and we worked out where collectively we needed to improve, and we tutored each other and helped each other out, which is a really rare thing in Year 12, to sacrifice time to do that. And I know that I did a lot better because of that, and so did my mates.
For the IB, it's a big thing here at Trinity now. I think half of my cohort do it. Why do you sort of endorse someone, doing the IB program? What does it teach you post-school that you wouldn't get doing the HSC, for example?
I can't comment too much on the HSC because I never did it. And I would absolutely advocate for the IB. I thought it was a great program. I loved it. And it really gave me the confidence to think that I could get into a course like law at Sydney Uni. But it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's something that a student needs to figure out themselves, and there's a lot of options available. And I hope the boys know that they can reach out to old boys like myself, find us on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and reach out to us and ask us questions, because we've been there. We know what it's like.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
I would definitely advocate for it, but it's not for everybody. People
Yeah.
need to figure out their own path and
Yeah.
use the resources that are available.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, as I said, over half my year do it, but it's a great program to help you for that university style course, especially doing something like law. Yeah.
One of the things that I realised when I got to university was that nobody spoon feeds you. And your teachers always say that, but you don't really believe how different it is until you get there.
Yeah.
And you are totally responsible for yourself. And I think that learning style in the IB does prepare you well for that, particularly with the extended essay, because that really is just like a 4,000 word university assessment or a miniature thesis.
Going back now to the sport, to the individuality of the sport of running, how did the school and how did the coaches here help you really to focus on your own performance and your own goals when hitting the track, and also away from the track, and blocking out others around you and keeping your mind on that task at hand, running the best and the fastest time that you can?
Well, I really had limited time in years 11 and 12 in particular when I was doing the IB, because I grew up in the Shire and that's where I lived throughout my high schooling years. So I had a fair commute every day to and from school, and Trinity, the school days are long at Trinity, especially when you do co-curriculars. It really is a lifestyle. It's more than just a school.
Yeah.
So when I'd get to the track, I'd have to be really diligent with my time, and I knew that away from the track I had to be diligent with my time because I didn't have a lot of it. I was very fortunate in years 11 and 12 in particular that I was able to train with the external group of elite athletes that Murph brought into the school. And I think it was the exposure to those high achieving individuals who had a really high standard in sport and away from sport, and the exposure to them. They were a little bit older, they had a little bit of life experience, and they became my mates. And I think that exposure to those people went a long way to helping me develop good habits that weren't just useful in sport, they were also very useful academically and helped my academic life a lot. And it's a real privilege that now I'm allowed to come back, and the school lets me come back to train with Murph, and now I have the opportunity to mentor the boys here and do the same thing. That's a great thing.
It's excellent. Yeah, great program. I think, is it every night of the week that you come back and train, Rowan? Are you here most nights or?
Pretty well. I'm here quite often.
Yeah.
And I train out at the Institute of Sport at Olympic Park as well.
Because I see you sometimes, I'll finish training and I'll walk past and you'll be there, but there'll be a few boys from Trinity there as well. So, it's important.
Yeah, and I hope the boys know that they can always say g'day.
Yeah,
come
for
up,
sure.
ask a question.
100%, yeah.
Because, I know what it's like to be a schoolboy.
Yeah, you were in our shoes, not so long ago.
Yeah, that's right.
So there you go. In terms of, your career so far, you haven't had the smoothest ride. You've faced injuries, disappointments along the way, and I'll let you talk more about that. But what are some of the key challenges and obstacles that you've had to overcome in your career, and how did your time here at Trinity contribute to knowing how to face those challenges?
Yeah, it's a good question. The biggest setback in sport is injury. And I've been unlucky over the years. I've had a few unlucky injuries, inflammation problems, Achilles, knee, hip injuries, hamstrings. These are, to some degree, unavoidable as a 100-metre sprinter because you are constantly trying to push your body to the limit without crossing that red line to the point where you get injured. I think that my time at Trinity taught me to be diligent, taught me to be patient, and it really taught me to prioritise my time and focus on the important things. Sport's a very consuming thing. It's easy to get caught up in that bubble. And I think that my time at Trinity taught me the skills to be able to prioritise sport when I need to, particularly leading into an Olympics now. But also away from that to prioritise things like family, my mates, my study at university. And it gave me the skills to be able to manage that time effectively.
Now, one of the key setbacks in your career, and I don't know if I should bring it up, but I will have a go. At the Com Games last year, 2018, I think you ran in the semi-finals, the Sunday night. You missed out on the final by 1/100th of a second.
1,000.
1/1000th of a second. On the night of the final, and you missed out. It was very, very close. But then the day after, I think one of the runners in the final pulled out last minute from England. It was an English representative. And you could have been that runner that stepped into his spot. how did you overcome little setbacks like that within your career from a, competition point of view?
Well, that's a part of sport. You sign up for it. It's difficult. There's no doubt about it. You're very invested in it when you train every day of the week, up to 12 times a week. It becomes a large part of your life and your identity. And when you do fall short like that and you have failures in sport, it's a bit of pill to swallow. There's no doubt about that. But there's two sides to the same coin, and there have been times in my career where I have had absolute moments of enchantment and elation. And one of those was earlier this year when I ran 10:08, which is my personal best at the moment.
Yeah.
And jumped a fair way up the Australian all-time rankings. And really, those moments are what drive you. You're always motivated by those sort of glittering moments of success in the sport, as opposed to those moments where you're in the pits, even though you realise that both are inevitable.
Yeah. It's a bit of a mix in sport. You're going to get the good times and the bad times, and
And I think it hardens you, and I think that's the sort of thing that you experience in life, no matter what field you're in. And that's why I think sport is so important for kids at school.
Yeah.
And I think the compulsory sport is such a good thing for a lot of people, because it really puts things in a perspective, especially when you're in years 11 and 12, you get so caught up in your exams. It's great to have sport as a way to just get away from it all, refresh, hang out with your mates, do something different.
It's a great release, and I know I've got friends at other schools and they don't really have that compulsory Saturday sport in year 12. They give you the option, you can do it or you can't, but doing it at Trinity is great. It's a great time, as you said, get out with your mates and just release, forget about, what's happening in the books and sort of just worry about what's on the field. So it's an important part of schooling.
Definitely. And one of the things I was proudest of in year 12 at Trinity was that I never missed a training session down here with Murph. Even through my exam period, even in my preparation for my exams. And for me, I really believe that helped me and improved my overall academic performance.
Moving now, to social media, I've seen some of your posts online, and one that stands out for me was after your recent campaign at the World Champs in Doha. You sort of stressed the importance of mental health, especially with young athletes. So a message that you would have for all athletes, at Trinity, not just runners, but, athletes in general who struggle with maintaining a positive headspace with all the setbacks that sport, comes with. Do you have a message for those kids out there?
If I had to give them one message, it would be to take a break, find a bit of balance. And there are times in your life where you're focused on a goal and you're focused solely on that goal, and it's hard to find balance. And that's okay, as long as you take periods to step away from it. And for me, after the World Championships in Doha this year, I had a lot of injury leading in. I had quite bad illness just beforehand, and I really underperformed, particularly at the back end of a good season. And I was very disappointed. And I had my break. I had 4 to 6 weeks off, time to refresh, and that was really important for me, and definitely refreshed me to prepare for the Olympics.
In that period that you're saying, to take a break and refresh, Scott Seo, we had Scott in a couple of weeks ago for an interview, and he mentioned surrounding yourself with positive energy is key. What can you say on positive energy, the people you surround yourselves with when you're recovering from an injury?
Yeah, I think it's really important to surround yourself by people who are going to be positive and not detract or be negative. I mean, I think that it's important to accept relevant criticism and good constructive criticism, but it's just a waste of time to surround yourself by people who are going to be overtly negative or when there's no need to be. So you got to surround yourself by people who bring out the best in you, who make you happy, who make you laugh. And that's something I always got from my schoolmates here.
Yeah,
and still do to this day.
Yeah, for sure. Growing into adulthood isn't an easy journey, and a lot of people find that difficult, especially when you've been at a school for some time. You were here for 4 years, so you would have felt really a part of this organisation. Can you give us a personal example of how the Trinity community helped you along that way? It might have been a staff member or person, and even Murph. I'm interested to hear how Murph helped you away from the track, just as a person moving into adulthood. How did that help you?
Well, I think it's easiest to talk about Murph because him and I have a very close relationship, and it's something that develops from, when he took me on as a 14-year-old boy and he was just a coach, to the years since I left school, and he's become a very close mentor and a good mate to me. And I think it's important to have relationships like that with people, particularly mentorship type relationships where you can learn from people. Track and field's it's a sort of sport where you can never really switch off, because the amount of sleep that you get, the rest time that you get is so important, what you eat is so important, so you're always sort of switched on in some way. And I found it so valuable to have a mentor who's been to 3 Olympics, who is, a relaxed person who I can talk to about anything. And that's why over the years, I've definitely developed that relationship with Murph. I think it's a very rare and special thing.
On that thing, you touched on something which I want to get a little bit more out of in terms of an athlete, their well-being, eating, sleeping, things like that. What strategies do you have for athletes who are looking to, make a pro in the future? How should they start to prepare themselves from a young age, from a, eating and well-being point of view?
I think that the habits that you form when you're young go a long way to developing who you become when you're older. And it's something that starts in high school, having high standards in everything that you do. If it's your schoolwork, if it's your sport, co-curricular, whatever it is, it's all about having high standards and making sure that those carry across to everything that you do. If I had to give one piece of advice to student athletes coming through, it'd be to stress the importance of balance, to be patient. It doesn't happen overnight, and commitment. I never went to schoolies out of year 12. I stayed and trained. I've sacrificed family holidays and trips to train because I know that missed time is you can't make up. So you really have to figure out what is important to you, to prioritize that, and to really commit to it, particularly in sport, because you only have a small number of years when you're young to pursue it.
For sure. And some great advice, and I'm sure a lot of the current students that watch this will take on board your feedback, seeing how successful you've been, post school. What's next for Rowan Browning on and off the track? Obviously your study's something that you're focused on, but from time to time we can see you in front of the cameras on Fox Sports. So what do you think, post running career, what do you want to do?
Yeah, it's a great question, and a lot of my mates from school now have gone off into a wide range of industries. I've got mates who are in law, who are in banking, who are running startups. It's an incredible thing. When you come to a school like this, you really realise that there are infinite opportunities and infinite avenues for you to pursue. Career-wise, I will definitely be running through to the Paris Olympics in 2024. That's about where I'll be at my peak age.
Wow.
And how far I go on beyond that will really just depend on how I'm going and where I see myself and what I want to do. I'm in my 4th year of a law degree at Sydney Uni. I'll finish off my Bachelor of Arts next year, and I've got a couple more years left of the law studies. Will I work as a lawyer? It's something I'm interested in at the moment. I could definitely see myself going down that path and maybe pursuing a career at the bar or something in that field. But at this stage, I'm leaving my options open. I'm focusing on trying to qualify for the Olympics next year.
Touching on, athletics, it's obviously, or any sport, to be honest, there's a short window. Your prime, you've got your career, but, then opportunities can be diminished as you go on. How many Commonwealth and Olympic Games do you envisage yourself being a part of? How many can we be expecting to cheer you down that home straight, 100 metres?
Yeah, well, in track and field, there's a major championships every year for us in Australia, whether it's a World Championships, a Commonwealth Games, or an Olympic Games. I will definitely run through to the 2024 Olympics, and after that, I'll just have to play it by ear, I suppose, and decide. I think I'm always just evaluating. Can I improve? How much can I improve? And do I really think I can be a world-class contender? And the day that I don't think that I can be, or I stop believing that, I'll quit and walk away and never look back. But until that point, I'll definitely keep running because I just love it. And I'm in very capable hands with Murph.
Just tell us a bit of a technical side. We'll finish up on this point. For 2020, for Tokyo, what time do you need to run to make it? And if you do make it, what will it mean to you to represent Australia on a world stage? You've represented them on a world stage at a number of events, but the Olympics hold so much more. So what would it mean to you to represent them, and what time do you need to run to make it?
You either need to run 10:05 seconds, or you need to qualify top 56 in the world on world rankings, which is a bit more of a convoluted system. So there's a few different options, and I've got the domestic season starting in January, running all the way through till June to qualify, which is a long period, and that's definitely what I'll be focusing on. I have the World Indoor Championships in China next year, where I'm looking to hopefully run a 60 metre and hopefully try and contend there.
Rowan, representing Australia is a very, very prestigious thing. Representing any country is a prestigious thing. And you've done that on numerous occasions already, World Champs and Com Games. But the Olympics is an event which carries so much more. It holds so much more, it means so much more to people. What would it mean to you to pull on the green and gold for Australia next year in 2020 at Tokyo and run that 100 metres, that prestigious event for your country and your family as well, representing your family? What would it mean to you?
Yeah, it's the reason why I get out of bed every morning and drag myself out here to train, you know. As you said, I think in track and field, the World Champs and the Commonwealth Games are great, but they always just feel like stepping stones en route to the Olympics. Like that is the end in itself, is to go to the Olympics and to try and make your country proud. And that's just the thing, I've worn the green and white, I've worn the green and gold. I'd like to think I look good in green.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, I hope that I do.
Yeah.
But I think that the spectre of the Olympics is massive, and that is just absolutely what I want out of my sporting career.
Well, Rowan, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. It's been great to just sit and reflect on your time here at Trinity, you know, what you got out of it, who the key people were, and, you know, how it ultimately made the person you are today. So thanks for your time.
Yeah.
All the best. I can't wait to see you next year. It'll be my HSC year, so everything will be put to one side, the books will be put to one side, and all focus on that prestigious event. And all the very best, and know that going over there, you've got the support of your family and your country, but you really do have the support of your school, and we're all behind you. We're all keen to see how you go, and hopefully there's a gold medal around your neck and you can bring it in for that
Thanks, mate.
money shot.
It's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ron.